Most animations are done through Source Filmmaker, and in this video I'll show you just some basic tips on how to use Source Filmmaker. Show you it's quite an easy program to use. Yeah, it should have no map loaded. So what you first want to do is you want to load a map. So you want to right click on the screen and say load map. Okay, and depending on how many maps you've downloaded, it should come up with a list here, all the maps you can download, and it does load Team Fortress 2 maps as well. And if you, I think, go onto the Source Filmmaker workshop, there is a lot of maps that will automatically download into your folder once you've done it. So let me load up one then. Let's go into trying to think of a good one here. Okay, we just load this one up for time being and say open. So when you've chosen your map, just click on it and say open. Give it a few seconds, depending on how strong your computer is, it will load up the map. But you must remember that some maps don't have the right lighting. And if you load up a map which doesn't have HDR lighting, then the whole scene will be very bright, and you won't get the sort of contrasting and dynamic shadows and lightings that you would get with an HDR map. But what I'll do is I'll show you what I mean by that when I load one up. And it's still loading, and there we are, we're in. Okay, so as you can see, the map's here. It's the first time I did this particular map up, and it looks really nice. And as you can see, you can fly around and whatnot. Okay then, so that's the map loaded then. Okay, so now we want to import a character. It could be any character, it could be a custom character, and what we're going to do is import them in. So we go to this button here, and then we click on create animation set for new model. Right, and now it should load up all the weapons or anything here. We've got weapons, all sorts of models. So I'm gonna click up to the top here. Let's get rid of that and delete. I've got a lot of models here, 30,174. This is what I use for most animations. But we're gonna just put in, we're gonna start very simple and get the scout model. That's the different scout. That's from Blacklight Retribution, but what we want is a scout where we can animate his mouth. Scout mum. No, we want the scout himself. There we go. So that's him right there. And as you can see in the model, you can actually zoom around it and have a look at him. You can change the skins of him as well, but we're just going to import him in. Okay, and depending on where the camera is, there he is. So that's that there. Okay, so the model is in there, and as you can see, he is floating above the ground. Now what you want to do, you want to get off this, go to graph editor, click that, and now click on this plus here. Now open up all these options. What you want to do is click body and root transform. This little icon should be here. What that means is blue makes the model move up, red to the side, and green back. So you have Z axes, X axes, and Y axes. What we want to do to make him on the ground, so we want to move him down here, and down there. Now what you got to remember is that this is not Gary's mod, so that Source Filmmaker models do not have any collision detection, so they will go through the floor like that. So what you want to do is we want to make him a bit more closer there, just to make sure that he isn't on the ground. There we go, so now he's on the ground like that. Okay. Also about models is that you want to change it so that you want to click on face, and as you know, just give it some eyes, and then this will allow you to move his eyes left and right. So you can change them all, like eyes converge as well. And there was a way, I think you can make him, yeah, so there's a view target as well, so this little icon here, depending on, you can make him follow that as well if you don't want to use the sliders. Okay, so that's that, we have the model in, and that's that part done. Now with facial movements, this can get tricky. What you want to do is to go to the face again over here, and go to lower face, and these are the options that allow you to change how he says and speaks, his mouth and everything. Do that. Again, you can have many different options of how to, with the Team Fortress 2 characters, especially characters that if you look on the workshop, anyone that has HWM means that they have full motion control over every part of their mouth. Most of the custom characters on the net will only have mouth open option, whereas these particular characters will give you all sorts of options to change. So yeah, but the more you play about with these options, they change with their facial expression as well. Yeah, you can create some really good animation. I must also remember that if you don't like these particular objects on him, you can get rid of them. What you want to do is right click on the name and then the set body groups. What this does will give you the option, see it says here hat, if you don't want his hat you just click none and that'll remove it. And same again, if you don't want the headphones being shown, set body groups, headphones, none, and that will get rid of that. And that's how you get rid of the item set. If you want to change the skin of him, you right click, you say set skin, and it should give you an option of different skins. Now if we want it to be blue, we click on 1 and that will change his skin to blue. So, and that's how to do that. Alright then, so lighting and camera work, we'll do that now. As you can see, there is quite a lot of lighting at the moment. It's quite bright, but there's no shadows being casted from him. So what we want to do, we're going to make a new light. We're going to right click over here and create animation set for new light. Okay, I don't know where that light is, let me just see. Ah, here we are, so it's up here. You can vaguely see it. There is no, you can't, yeah, so there you go, when you move it down you can now see there's light there. Now with the options with light, you can get some really good lighting effects in this engine. It gives you these options here, so we make the horizontal FOV, that makes it the wider space of it. Again, if you want a vertical, makes it a bit bigger. There's if the shadows, they're sort of fuzzy at the moment. Now if we change the filter size and move it down, see the shadow gets thicker. Move it back up again, it goes thinner. So the more it goes down, it goes down. Again, if you want even more thicker to it, you move this shadow a 10 down like that. Makes it even thicker. What else have we got here? If you want to see the cone of the light, you need to, no, that's not it. Right click on the light over here and then say enable volumetrics. Okay, now it won't automatically show it until you click on the volume intensity here and drag the slider. See, there we go, left or right. The more you have it, the more it makes it all foggier. If you move it a little bit more left, you can make it, there we go, you can make it look a little bit better like that. As you can see, it's still quite bright, so what we're going to do is turn it down a bit. So we want to go to intensity and move the intensity slider down like that, and that's a bit better right there. For other things too, like now for the camera is up there. This is the work camera, so if you want to switch to the camera, we're going to go create new animation set for new camera. Just click that and it's called camera 2. So what you want to do is look here on the right here, and you want to change the scene camera to 2, and this is the camera 2 scene we're looking at right now. Now you can change the camera to just by moving around the screen, left click and then just drag around. That's how you move it. To fly around with the camera, you just want to use the same keys, WASD, and that'll make you fly around with the camera. Now there we go, so we can move the camera like this. If we go back to the work camera, there we go. See the camera 2 is right there. Now the functions with camera, you can do many things. Right now I'm going to right click, this is the rotation tool just here, and you can do the same thing again with the move, but the same sort of axis. So I'm going to make it move a little bit right, like that. And with the options with cameras, it's got some options here. This is the field of view slider, so you can zoom right out like this. Again, many like first person shooter games, you can use the field of view like this, in and out, zoom in. For the focal distance, this is how close you want him to be. It will blur out everything else from the background. So if you just want his face in shot, you're going to move the slider so that you can see it like that. And then for the aperture, this is how much blurriness you want in the background. So if I was put that up like this, and now it won't automatically show this in the graph editor. If you want to see how blurry it is, you want to go to this. Now as you can see, it looks really weird because of the at the moment it's because of the processing thing, the actual size. So what you want to do is right click, go to render settings, and you want to change the samples. Now it's on default, so what you want to do if you want to make it look the most elite is you want to change it to 1024 override, and then again the motion blur you want to do 256. Now that is the best one you could possibly have, and just give it a second and there you go. That's the best quality you can probably get. It will take longer to render, but if you want the best quality, this is the one you want to go for. And that's basically the blurriness effect. So I'm going to talk about the rest of the effects they have on here. Bloom scale is, actually no, I've gone too far. Tone scale is how darker you want it, so this will just how dark you want the scene, or how bright you want the scene. Bloom scale is actually how much you want things to reflect it, add this effect to it, blooms the shot of anything bright. With these, you don't technically need to worry about SSAO strength. And what that does, it basically highlights or outlines it to make it look more cartoony. So I'm just going to do that now and show you again with the radius there. Then I'll change it back. So when it renders it, there, it gives that sort of darker shadow effect to the character. There's dark around here. And that's technically only used if you want to be using your character in like a dark environment or a cave or something like that. And as for the rest, like Transform POS and Transform ROT, you don't need to worry about that. Okay, so that is the camera and lighting effects for you right there. Okay, so what we're going to do now is add sound to the scene. What we're going to do is click here, or clip editor. You want to scroll down until you get to the sound area, which is just here. Okay, so what we're going to do is right click. It could be on effects, anywhere, effects, music, whatever. Right click, and you want to add clip to track. Okay, and depending on how many sound files you got, it will just load them up here. Now it will depending on how many games you own, it will play most of these sounds. So if I click on just ambient here, they probably will play them. Yeah, so that they can play them right there. Now what we want to just random sound I can play. Let me click. Let me just load up that one then.
This video contains disturbing content.
Okay, that was just one of my XJ ones, so I just pop that in there like that. And then the clip is right there. And it will play. It will play just as if a normal thing would. If you use any program, like any video program, it will look just like one of that, and that will play regardless. And so this is how you do the character lip syncing. You just play the sound clip underneath and you try and match what the character says, and that's really how important sound works. So what we're going to do now is animation. I'm just going to delete that. Now depending on the models, some of them will come with their own custom animation. If you want to see that, all you got to do is right click on Scout and then say import animation. Okay, that's not the one, sorry. Right click, import sequence. Okay, so that shows the Scout right there. At the moment he's in his T pose, but you can choose different animations right here. Some of them should work. So yeah, there we go. So there's one right there, and if you move the slider, it moves right there. Let's try another one. Yep. Let's try that. There's a taunt one. Okay, let's try that one then. So that one we like, and we just say open. So, and straight away the character is already in that, and if you just press play, there he goes. Now what you do is just keep on looping the animation like that, because that's what will happen. It'll just keep on looping. To change it so that he does something different, what you want to do is you click on clip editor. Let's make sure that part is just done. Okay, so that goes back. Okay, so and just click on there like that, and then press B, and that will split the clip. And now if you want him to do something different, which I probably will make him do, I'll press B again just here. I'll go back, and I'll right click, import sequence, and I'll make him do something different. Let's have him do okay, that's a bit strange. Some of these are a bit strange, that the animation breaks up a bit. So there we go. So I have one camera here. I may move him back. That's quite scary actually. His eyes were there. Right, move him back. Let's get the camera. Oh, I'm gonna make the camera move this time as well. So let's make there's his eyes. Okay, let's do that. Right, so I'm gonna make the camera move like that. So I'm just moving it with the left click, and as you notice, it's keyframing as well. So it will move when I move the camera. The actual camera moves with it. There we go. So there's one scene right there, and as you notice, it clips straight to the second scene, and I'm going to move this camera behind him this time. So if I put the camera, oh, what did I do then? Didn't mean to do that. Let's move the camera over here. Make sure is there we go. Okay, so that's that. Let's go back to the beginning again. Hopefully this time around it should just play them all together like that, and then it should switch to the next camera. Yep, there we go, switch to the next camera. That's how you do it. That's how you switch different scenes, because otherwise the animation will just keep looping the entire time. So you split the clips, and then you just do each animation separately, and that is how you do that. Alright, so what we're going to do now is we're going to import a character, and then we're going to have a weld him holding an object. Okay, so just import Chris in. There he is. Let's put him back down onto normal level. Always use root transform to move an object, because if you just select the whole thing and try and move him, it generally doesn't work and does this. So yeah, always use it. Go to body and root transform. That's the best way to move an object. Just put him down level like this. Just put him there. Okay. Now I want him to hold an object. Never be sure where the actual muscles are, the actual bones are on here. Nope. It's one of these. It's one of these people. That's the thing, you can never be too sure. Scroll through here. There we are, so that's it. L arm. That's the one we're after. L forearm. Just find the other one. R arm. And R forearm. There we go. Right, so now we're just gonna find a random gun. So it's a scroll through the models again. Type in GUN. Let's just find any old random one. Let's use that one. That's the bolt-on gun from Gears of War. That looks pretty good. And we're just going to import that in. The gun, where is the gun? There it is, right there. So if we just do the same thing again, let's minimize that. Let's find body, root transform. And now notice the root transform is not underneath it. Not on the model itself, it's underneath it. Let's try and find one. No, is that on there? That's not as close as well. So whoever did the import in, it wasn't a good job, because the root transform technically should be on the handle here, but it's fine. It's not too bad. So let's put that in his hand. Oh, another good feature about Source Filmmaker is that if a weapon or item is too small, you can enlarge it. This includes even the characters themselves. To do that, you want to right click, go to utilities, go to add scale control to models. Now it should give you a slider just here, so if you click on that, you can increase the size and the scale of it. So yeah, you can have it really big like that, or you can just get back to normal size. So it's like that, and that way it's better. That way you can choose, you know, if it'll fit in his hand or not. So we just go back to it and let's put that right there. Let's rotate it a bit. Let's move it up a little bit more. Still not level. Not the best. I mean, it's just a test for now, just to show off. So it's not welded to his hand at the moment. If I was to show you what I mean by that. So that's his hand model. See, it's not in his hand. So what we want to do is we want to click on this so that you open both of them. Now you see these boxes just here. If you get the right hand one and click and drag it to the root transform like that, these little icons should appear, and now if you notice, it's welded together with his hand. So no matter what I do now, if I was to grab the arm part, where is it? Okay, so yeah, so that the arm's just there. If I was to move that around, it's welded to it, and that is how that's how you weld objects to hands or any other part of the body. Very much like the weld button from Gary's mod, but it's a lot more effective here, and that's how you weld it. Okay, so let's talk about particles. Now if I just minimize all this, there we go. I'll move the camera out. Particles is they've got their own function on here, makes everything look a lot better. Now what I want to do to start off with, right click up here and create animation set for new particle system. Okay, and it will bring up all this. Now if you want to browse first of all, this will take you to the default directory. This is under user mod particles on the Steam folder, Source Filmmaker. Obviously I've downloaded quite a lot of models, quite a lot of particles. So to start off with, let's just find one. We'll just start with something simple then. Let's just find explosion and open that up. Okay, so there it is. Sometimes they give you, yeah, there you go. Sometimes they give you more options of what to use. We just stick with explosion core for now. Emission duration is how long you want it to go for. The start time is generally where it's starting now, which is just here. So if I go to, I don't know, emission duration to 50 and 50. Okay, that. Right. Now immediately it doesn't show it. Now if you click on explosion core, it's apparently going to be right there. But actually we don't want that there. Let's move the camera back a bit. Just move it back here. And let's grab the control point. Now with particles, the control point is where everything is going to take place. It's not called root transform, it's going to be called control point, and that is where you want the particle to start. So you just want to move it back. So I'm going to move it to over here, and still it's not showing it. No matter if you fast forward it or not, it's still not going to show it. What you want to do for the particle to show is you move your slider all the way back to the previous scene, or make it go back behind 0 and then reset it again. And now if we put it back to the scene and press play, there's the explosion. See, we'll try a different particle this time around because that's a very fast one. Let's try a different one. So we create a new particle system. Let's search for, I don't know, building explosion. Let's try that. Yeah, there's only one option this time around, so let's OK that one. Okay, nothing's there, so let's go back again and try it again. There we go. There's the particle explosion. And this time we got smoke with it, so that's cool. It's not too bad. Let's try moving it a bit. So move it over here somewhere. There we go. One more. Let's try one more. Create new set for particle system. Browse. What are we going to use? What about... I don't know what this is. Wall smash or something random, I don't know what that is. So more crazy stuff going on there. I don't know what I added, but that is how particles work, so yeah. It's quite a simple one to understand, yeah. So I suppose the very last thing you could probably do is, how do I save my stuff? That's simple. All you want to do is go to File, Export. Now you can either save it as a poster, just a simple screenshot, or you can save it as a movie. If you want to save it as a movie, export movie. Yeah, that's fine. Now this is where it's going to save it. It always saves it in the same place for me, which is Sessions in Source Filmmaker. I know what that is. It's going to come up with all these options here. Now 1024 is going to be the best option you can save it at. Again, with 256 being the best motion blur. Now depending on like the size of your computer, it's going to take a lot longer to render. But the ones I always save mine as, my XJ intros are usually 1024 by 256. Ambient occlusion, that's if you want all the crazy shadow effects and everything on it. So if you want all that in it, then tick ambient occlusion. If you don't want any of that and want it simple, then take it off. Gamma adjust just basically makes everything more sort of saturated and makes it look better, cooler colors. Again, depending if you have it on or off, it will take longer to render. And MP4 is a format. You can obviously change that to different formats like MOV or AVI, but MP4 is generally the best one to save it as. And then all you do is just click export movie and it will be done. You can try these other ones. If you want to add all these other ones, you can add that into, but it's generally best just to leave them as they are. And then when you're done, just click export movie and job done. It will render all whatever there's on the timeline.